Yeah, this is Black Light. We trying to wake y'all up, uh, and stop y'all from following this silliness, these silly brothers. So, or should I say, silly niggas? So listen to this. This is what they got planned for us if we don't try to come together and unite.
6, Deep South Region. 7, Deep South Region 2. 8, Great Plains Rocky Mountain Region. 9, Southwest Region. 10, A and B, West Coast Region. A being north, apparently Washington and Oregon from the map. B being down in Southern California. Then the memo goes on. No attempt will be made to seal off the Canadian and Mexican borders. Before continuing with the King Alfred plan, I'd just like to harken back to a provision here of Rex 84. And let me go back.
Rex 84, for those of you who are in the middle of this and are trying to follow and having a little problem, Rex 84, remember, is the confirmed plan mentioned at some length in the Sheehan affidavit that was put together by Oliver North and the folks over at FEMA Management. And we're going to be reading a short segment here down in the footnotes from the Sheehan affidavit about some interesting correspondences between Rex 84 and the putative King Alfred plan.
Right. Now, going from King Alfred plan back to the Sheehan affidavit, it says here, according to Rex, it says, first, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, after deputizing all DOD personnel and State National Guard personnel, ostensibly so as to make such personnel civilians and to thereby avoid violating the congressionally enacted Posse Comitatus Act, would undertake to test its ability to seek out and to take into custody some 400,000 undocumented Central American aliens throughout the United States, and then to in turn set Central American aliens in 10 military detention centers to be established during this Rex 84 readiness exercise. And in a footnote, it points out that these are to be 1, Fort Drum, New York; 2, Fort Indiantown Gap, Pennsylvania; 3, Fort A.P. Hill outside.
Now you see, this is somewhat what had happened when Trump, got into office. He was following this plan right here.
District of Columbia in Virginia; 4, Fort Benning, Georgia; 5, Eglin Air Force Base in Florida; 6, Camp Crone, Florida. This base to serve as the jointly FEMA INS Administration Interrogation Center; 7, Fort Chaffee in Arkansas; 8, Fort Huachuca, Arizona, which was also to serve as the U.S.-based ground communication center for Operation Night Train; and 9, Eglin Air Force Base in California, and 1 outside of Oakdale, California. There is a remarkably close degree of correspondence between the 10 regional detention centers outlined under Rex 84 and the 10 regions under the King Alfred plan. Continuing with the King Alfred plan, again, we thought it was important to point out that unnerving similarity. Combined memo, Department of Justice, Federal Bureau of Investigation, Central Intelligence Agency. There are 12 major minority organizations, and all are familiar to the 22 million. Dossiers have been compiled on the leaders of the organizations and can be studied in Washington. The material contained in many of the dossiers and our threat to reveal that material has considerably held in check the activities of some of the leaders. Leaders who do not have such usable material in their dossiers have been approached to take government posts, mostly as ambassadors and primarily in African countries. The promise of these positions also has materially contributed to a temporary slowdown of minority activities. However, we do not expect these slowdowns to be of long duration because there are always new and dissonant elements joining these organizations with the potential power to replace the old leaders. All organizations and their leaders are under constant 24-hour surveillance. The organizations are: 1, the Black Muslims.
You hear that? Number 1, the Black Muslims, meaning the Nation of Islam and those other Muslims who call themselves Muslims that are black. You didn't say the Muslims. You said the Black Muslims. Any Muslim anyone that's black that call themselves a Muslim, you under constant surveillance. You know, when you go in and sign up, register when you as a Muslim or when you just hang around them. You know, go to the meetings. You don't call yourself a black Muslim, but they gonna call you a black Muslim. Number one. So we're gonna let you hear more of this as in the next couple of tapes about this King Alfred Rex 84 hookup. It's serious, man. It ain't nothing to be played with. You see? This is nothing to be played with. And it ain't went nowhere. Only thing they do is modify it. You know, from time to time. They adjust it for the times that we live in. So they hiring black snitches and cats who got out of jail, or cats that's been messing with drugs, or been seen going through dope houses. Because a whole lot of black leaders like Huey Newton and other brothers, some of them, reason why they don't want to be with the nation is because they like to get high, and then they ain't gonna change. They like to whole hop around. They don't want to be right. They don't want to try to be righteous, but they want to do their thing in the streets and try to lead our people to victory. But if you high, man, I don't care what you have. You could just be high off your damn self. Your head ain't on right. Black light. We're going to come back with a little bit more.